So what are the best lures for catching trout in saltwater? Well, in today's video, I'm going to cover some of the top baits that I think will help you catch more fish and bigger fish. Coming up. Hey, welcome to Get Lipped Fishing. My name's Murph. On this channel, we focus on tips, tactics, and becoming a better fisherman. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. All the products I talk about today will be linked down below in the description box so that you can get some of those and get on some big trout. What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another episode. We're finally here. We made it to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're at 130 right now. So thank you all for all the support. And as promised, we're doing a giveaway today. It's giveaway day. I've got a bunch of baits laid out here that I'm gonna give away here in a few minutes. I think the easiest way for me to do this is to just put number 1 through 7. That's how many of you guys left a review on the podcast. So as promised, I'm gonna take those people and put you into a lot and pick a random number from there. So I think I'm just gonna go on to the Google generator and see what number we draw. Okay, there you have it. Google picked number 1 out of 1 through 7 of you people that left a vote. So whoever left the first podcast review, congratulations. You just won yourself some tackle. Congratulations to BDB804. So what I'm going to do, you just won some inshore fishing gear, some lures, some jig heads, some just inshore gear that's going to get you out flats fishing. And what I'll do is just put my email here on the screen. If you want to just send me an email with your address, I can ship this stuff to you, or if you're a local guy, I can have it all ready for you and you can pick it up at the tackle store that I work at, which is Gator Gyms. If email doesn't work for you, just send me a message on my Instagram at Get Lipped Fishing and send me a direct message there, and we'll get in contact and I'll find a way to mail this stuff to you. That takes care of the first giveaway on the channel, guys. So thank you so much for subscribing and following the journey and just enjoying the content. I hope you are enjoying it. If you are, make sure to leave this video a thumbs up. As promised, for the rest of the video, what are the best lures for trout fishing? Okay, guys, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. So growing up, on the weekends, I would get off school and get to go fishing out in the Tampa Bay with either my dad or with Corey and his dad. And we didn't have a trolling motor or a flats boat. So what we did was we just drifted the flats and we threw tons and tons of lures for trout. And there were days where we caught 30 trout. There were days where we caught 4 trout. There were days where we caught 100 trout. And in those days, I have used pretty much every lure there is. And since then, I've really expanded my lure selection and tried a bunch of different things. And so today, I'm just going to go over a few baits that I think will help you catch more trout. And then I'm also going to cover some baits that I think will help you catch bigger trout. Okay, so starting off, when I was a kid, we used to fish a lot of deep grass flats. And deep grass flats can hold large numbers of fish. So if you have long, expansive areas of grass and deeper grass, there's a couple of baits that I like to throw. And one of them is a lipped plug or a diving plug. And this one is an X-Wrap, and it's an absolute machine. So on deeper grass flats, you're in anywhere from 4 to 8 feet of water, and you have thick grass. Well, this bait is a very simple lure to use. All you do is you throw it out and you retrieve it. It does all the work. It has a lip on it, and it likes to dive and swim on its own. And that gets you down to just below the grass where the trout sit and wait to jump on a bait. So they'll be sitting in the grass. Here comes Mr. X-Wrap down by the grass. Boom, you got a fish on. It's a very simple bait. Anybody can throw it, and you can throw a little flare on it if you want to pause it every once in a while, give it twitches every once in a while. But it's just something that is very simple, very effective, and I think you definitely got to have it if you're going to fish deeper grass flats. Okay, number 2 for deeper grass flats is something with a jig head. Now you can use small swim baits with a jig head, or you can use worm-like imitations for jig heads. There's a bunch of things, jerk shads, there's a bunch of different things you can throw on a jig head. But deeper grass flats, a 1/4 ounce jig head with a jerk shad, scented, unscented, paddle tail, doesn't really matter. A jig head in the 1/4 ounce to 3/8 ounce range is going to get you to bounce off the bottom in those grass, in potholes, in thick turtle grass areas. And trout go nuts for that kind of stuff. Another bait you can throw in deeper grass flats is these bad boys. You've got twitch baits, but you want to make sure that you get something that's weighted, like a heavy miridine or a sabile that sinks, or some type of twitch bait that says heavy on it so that it gets down deeper. That's going to allow you to get to those fish that are in that deeper water. Now, when you're fishing deeper grass flats, I have noticed over the years that you catch a lot of trout, but you don't necessarily catch big trout. So if you want to go after the big boys, you're probably going to have to move up a little shallower. And that is what we're going to cover next. Okay, so if you want to catch a whole bunch of trout, you know that you can use lipped plugs and soft baits with jig heads and even some twitch baits that sink real deep. But say you want to catch the Mac Daddies, you want some gator trout, you want some big old fat boys. Well, you're going to have to slow things down a little bit and you're going to have to get shallow. Especially in the wintertime, which is what we're in right now. We have cooler water temperatures and we have lower low tides. And so I have found over the years fishing that bigger trout get in shallow water. Some of the biggest trout I've ever seen in the bay have been in less than 2 feet of water. Sometimes my boat won't even float. We'll be drifting down a flat and all of a sudden it's getting super skinny. And it's like, well, we got to get out of here. And then the next thing you know, I'm seeing massive fish everywhere, trout, redfish, you're seeing black drum. But the biggest trout I've ever seen have been in super shallow water. And for those baits, you got to throw something a little bit different. Topwater baits are super effective for drawing bigger bites. When you think about a topwater, a fish has to come up from underneath it and explode and inhale that bait from underneath. It's not just a quick, easy, grab it as it comes by. They got to want it. They got to get up there, pop it, grab it, pull it back down. And if you're using a larger topwater bait, such as this mirror lure Top Dog, you're going to find some bigger fish. Of the topwaters, I like the mirror lure Top Dog. It has a really nice low pitch single clack pop. And I really like that low pitch sound. I can hear it from really far away, so I know my bait is working properly, and I think it just draws that big fish bite. Another topwater that I'm really fond of is the Heddon Spook. This is a Spook Junior, and this is a more subtle topwater, so you can probably throw it around and get smaller bites on it, but you're still going to get those bigger bites. So it's kind of like a happy medium if you want to try to catch some maybe medium-sized fish up shallow. Maybe it's a day where it's really clear out, the water's really still, and this is a little more subtle presentation that'll be a little less spooky for maybe some finicky trout. So give this guy a try if you have a little bit calmer water conditions, clearer water conditions, really, really quiet, where you're trying to be extra stealthy and still get a bigger bite. This guy will do it. The Zara Spook also has a single knock, which I'm a big fan of, and it sounds like this. Okay, Zara Spook, top bait for me. Love those guys. Okay, so a bait that's kind of a hybrid is the twitch bait. We talked about it with deeper water, but it also works really well with shallow water. You just want to make sure that you get one that's a floating series or a suspending series. If you're going real skinny, definitely go with the floating series, so it's just under the surface. And if you want to draw bigger trout bites, try using a bigger twitch bait. This one happens to be an Unfair Lures Rip and Slash. It makes a lot of noise. I wouldn't necessarily throw this one in real super skinny because it sinks kind of fast, but you get the idea for size. So maybe like a mirror lure Miradine, the medium size, the XL. It's called a 27 MR. Throw one of those guys, or just the classic 17 MR2. That's a really great shallow water bait. But that's going to be for your medium depth, anywhere from 3 to 4 feet. Your super skinny stuff, you're going to want to stick with topwaters. And the next bait we're going to talk about. Okay, next up is possibly the oldest fishing lure made, because it's just a piece of metal, and it's the classic spoon. This is a weedless spoon. It's made by Aqua Dream Lures, and I think they make a really good, durable spoon that keeps weeds off really well, and it also comes in a variety of different colors, which I really like. And I didn't grow up throwing spoons. I didn't really like spoons. I tried them, but it was always like a last-ditch effort. I was like, I'm going to try a spoon out, and it never worked. I always watched the shows. I always listened to the seminars on TV and whatnot, and the big flats guys were always like, use spoons. They're great for everything. And really, it's only been in recent years that I've started to throw them a little more. But in super shallow water or medium depth water in the grass, they work phenomenally. They keep weeds off your baits, and they work really slow, and they just draw good bites. I've caught some real big trout on spoons. If you're not a spoon believer yet, try getting out and throwing some spoons this winter for big speckled trout, and I promise you'll get some bites. But don't use the spoon as a last-ditch effort like I did, because that means you're using it at the wrong time. You need to start with the spoon instead of using the spoon after you found out that no fish are biting. You want to use it as a priority. Okay, next up is the soft plastics, and you guys know that I'm a giant soft plastic nerd. I love me some soft plastics. So generally, I'm not going to throw a jig head with an exposed hook in the super shallow water like I'm talking about for trout, anywhere from that 3 to 2 foot range. For say under anything under 4 feet, like 3, 2.5, 2 feet, I'm going to throw a soft plastic with a belly weighted hook. This is a rigging hook. You can call it an EWG hook, kind of like worm fishing for bass. This happens to be a hook that Mustad makes called a grip and pin hook. It works really well with Z-Man products. It has this little metal pin on the front of the bait that keeps Z-Man products, the Elastec, really secure on the front, so you don't have a whole bunch of sliding around, and it works really well for keeping your bait weedless in that shallow water. I'm a big fan of throwing soft plastics like paddle tails. Paddle tails come in a variety of different sizes. You have a 3-inch, a 4-inch, and a 5-inch, and many different companies ranging from DOA to Z-Man to my buddy's baits here called grab and tail lures from Destin. Shout out Lionel James. Yo, what up? There's a bunch of different paddle tail options that you can find. Gambler makes a whole bunch for bass guys. They work in saltwater too. Saltwater Assassin, Slayer. Whatever your tackle shop has, pick up some 4-inch paddle tail baits, preferably one that has a slot underneath so that you can rig these things weedless. All right, Spence Dog, I want to get nuts and I want to try to catch some giant gators. I'm talking 24, 25, maybe 27, 28-inch trout. Well, you're going to want to try to throw big baits. And Z-Man has an option. It's a 5-inch diesel minnow. There's probably other bait companies out there. I just am a big fan of the Z-Man products. Throw some bigger profiles. Throw these 5-inch paddle tails. Throw a bigger spoon. Throw a bigger twitch bait. Throw some bigger topwaters. Just try throwing some bigger baits around these shallow areas during the wintertime. That's the best time to fish for big trout. So if you want to get in that big trout bite, throw some bigger profiles. Okay, so to wrap things up, if you want action and you want to catch a whole bunch of trout, generally smaller baits, soft plastics with paddle tails or jerk shads, twitch baits, smaller twitch baits like the medium mirror lure, the 17 MR, X-Wraps that just dive and you crank them. Fish, concentrate on those deeper grass flats. Anywhere from 4 to 8 feet of water of nice thick grass is going to hold more trout, and you're probably going to have more opportunities for trout. But if you're one of those guys that just wants quality over quantity and you want to get on some good fish, I would focus on shallower water, especially in the wintertime right now. They're going to be baking in the sun, getting warm in that shallow water. And I've found that in the wintertime, you catch bigger trout in shallow. So if you want to catch those big mama trouts, throw some bigger profiles, top waters, throw big swim baits, throw a spoon, throw some bigger hard plastics, and work on wading. Do a lot of wading in shallow water. If you have a flats boat, get up real skinny in some of these nice grass flats that you have and wherever you're living. If you don't have that, a kayak maybe, just try to get your butt in some shallow water and throw some nice profiles, nice size profiles, I should say. Bigger swim baits, spoons, top waters. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. I hope to give you more tips and more tactic videos like this in the future. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Congratulations to our 1,000 subscriber winner. Can't wait to do another giveaway. I love giving back to you guys because you guys are the ones supporting the channel and making me enjoy doing what I do. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.